Hey everyone, if you're on Social Security or disability benefits, I have breaking news for you. President Trump is promising to send $2,000 stimulus checks to Americans, and I'm going to tell you exactly who's eligible, when it could arrive, and whether this is actually real or just another empty promise. Plus, I have the complete December 2025 Social Security and disability payment schedule. When is your check going to hit your bank account? With all the uncertainty around the government shutdown, a lot of people have been asking me if their payments are going to be delayed or affected. I've read through the legislation, the Treasury Secretary's statements, and even the Supreme Court case that could make or break this entire stimulus plan, so you don't have to. And I'm going to break it all down in plain English. If you're a senior trying to stretch your Social Security check, a person on disability wondering if you'll qualify, a veteran, a single parent, or anyone struggling to make ends meet right now, this video is for you. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because when this stimulus gets approved, if it gets approved, I'm going to post an immediate update with exactly how to get your money. All right, let's get into it. First, let me cover what's actually happening right now with your December payments, because I know a lot of you were worried about delays because of the government shutdown. Here's the good news. Your Social Security and disability payments are still going out on schedule. The shutdown didn't affect these payments. Now, let me give you the exact dates so you know when to expect your money. If you're on SSI Supplemental Security Income, your December payment was actually sent out on November 29th. That's because December 1st falls on a Sunday, so they paid you early. If you didn't receive it, you need to contact Social Security immediately. For Social Security Retirement and SSDI Social Security Disability Insurance, your payment date depends on your birth date. Here's how it works. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, your check arrives on the second Wednesday, that's December 10th. Born between the 11th and 20th, your payment comes on the third Wednesday, December 17th. Born between the 21st and 31st, you'll get paid on the fourth Wednesday, December 24th. Right before Christmas. Now, there's a special category of people who get paid on the 3rd of the month. That's December 3rd. This includes you if you started receiving benefits before May 1997. You receive both Social Security and SSI. You live outside the United States, or your state pays your Medicare premium. Write these dates down. Set a reminder on your phone. And here's what to do if your payment doesn't arrive. Wait 3 business days. Sometimes there are transfer delays between Social Security and your bank. If after 3 business days your check still hasn't hit your account, call Social Security. The wait times have gotten worse recently, I'm not going to lie to you. But you need to call because it could be an overpayment issue or something else that needs to be resolved. Let me quickly mention this because I think it's important to know. The maximum Social Security benefit in 2025 is $5,108 per month. But that's only if you're retiring at age 70 and you paid the maximum into Social Security your entire working life. If you're retiring at full retirement age, the maximum is $4,018. And if you retire early at 62, the maximum is $2,710. The reality? The average Social Security benefit is $1,925 as of July 2025. That's what most people are actually getting. And here's something critical coming in 2026. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is now permanently set at 67. They've been slowly increasing it over the years, and now it's final. Here's what President Trump actually said, and I want you to hear it directly from him. We've taken in trillions of dollars, and it's been absolutely amazing. We're going to be doing a dividend to the people, low and middle income, moderate income people of at least $2,000. In addition to that, we'll be paying down debt very substantially. So he's calling it a tariff dividend, basically giving Americans a share of the money his administration has collected from tariffs on imported goods. Now, here's the honest truth about whether this is real. It's real as a proposal, but it has to go through Congress. And there's a Supreme Court case that could kill the entire thing. Let me explain what's actually happening here, because I've been following this since July. This didn't come out of nowhere. Back in July 2025, President Trump first mentioned sending rebate checks to Americans using tariff money. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri actually introduced legislation in the Senate to make it happen. The original proposal was for $600 checks. Then nothing happened for months. That made me skeptical. But here's what I've learned about President Trump and this Congress. If he wants something and he keeps talking about it over and over, he usually gets it. That's the pattern I watch for. In October, he brought it up again, but now the amount increased. He said $1,000 to $2,000. Then in November, he got more specific. He said definitively $2,000, and he wanted it done in 2025. Now we're hearing from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and here's what he said. Congress would have to approve any payment. Any payment would need legislation. But then he added, and this is important, the checks could go out. So the Treasury Secretary is confirming, yes, this is real. Yes, they're working on it. But it has to pass Congress first. Here's the question everyone's asking. Will seniors on Social Security get this? Will people on disability get this? The answer is yes. President Trump specifically said low and middle income, moderate income people. When they distributed stimulus checks during COVID and the Treasury Secretary referenced this directly, those checks went to everyone who qualified, including seniors on Social Security, people on SSI, people on SSDI, veterans receiving VA benefits, everyone. They sent $1,200 per adult and $500 per child in the first round back in April 2020. So if the president says everyone, and they're comparing this to the COVID stimulus, then yes, seniors, people on disability, veterans, unemployed individuals, working families, if you meet the income requirements, you're eligible. The income thresholds haven't been officially announced yet, but based on previous stimulus payments, we'd expect something like full payment for single adults earning under $75,000 and married couples under $150,000, with phase-outs for higher earners. Now, here's the part that could derail everything, and this is why I don't think we'll see these checks until mid-2026 at the earliest. There's a lawsuit pending before the Supreme Court about whether President Trump's tariffs are even legal. The justices heard oral arguments recently, and according to reports, most of them sounded skeptical about Trump's use of emergency powers to impose these global tariffs. Here's why this matters. If the Supreme Court says the tariffs are illegal, then that tariff money has to be refunded. And if the money has to be refunded, there's no revenue to fund the stimulus checks. The Tax Foundation estimates that the tariffs being challenged account for 75% of the new tariff revenue. So we're talking about the bulk of the money. The Supreme Court will likely issue their decision sometime in the first quarter of 2026, probably around March. That's why I'm saying, don't expect checks before June 2026. President Trump changed his timeline from 2025 to 2026, and I think that was strategic. He's waiting to see what the Supreme Court decides. So let me be straight with you. Do I think this stimulus is going to happen? If President Trump keeps pushing for it and the Supreme Court doesn't strike down the tariffs, then yes. I think there's a real chance we'll see $2,000 checks sometime in 2026. But there are a lot of ifs in that sentence. Congress has to pass legislation, the Supreme Court has to rule in favor of the tariffs. And even then, there are political and economic debates that could slow things down. Wall Street investors and economists aren't counting on it. There's too much uncertainty. But here's what I want you to take away from this. This is not just talk. There's actual legislation being discussed. The Treasury Secretary is on record, saying checks could go out. The president keeps bringing it up. So it's possible. It's just not guaranteed. Okay. I know waiting on a stimulus check that might not come for 6 months or might not come at all is frustrating. So let me give you some good news about things that are actually happening right now. First, your December Social Security payments are on schedule. No delays. The dates I gave you earlier are locked in. Second, the 2025 COLA increase already gave Social Security recipients a boost. It's not a one-time check, but it's permanent additional income every single month. Third, there are programs available right now that can help you. SNAP benefits, food stamps. Many seniors and people on disability qualify and don't realize it. Applications are open. LIHEAP, help with heating and cooling bills. This program is critical, especially with winter here. Medicaid and Medicare savings programs help with healthcare costs and premiums. The Earned Income Tax Credit. If you worked at all this year, you might qualify. Fourth, tax season is coming. If you didn't receive stimulus payments you were eligible for in previous rounds, you can still claim them on your 2025 tax return as the Recovery Rebate Credit. And fifth, if you're on Medicare, open enrollment just ended, but it's still worth reviewing your plan. A lot of people in our community have saved over $1,000 by switching to plans that better match their needs. I never want to leave you without action steps. Here's what you can do today. 1. Mark your calendar for your December Social Security payment date. Know when to expect it and what to do if it doesn't arrive. 2. Check your eligibility for benefits you might not know about. Go to benefits.gov and spend 10 minutes answering questions. You might qualify for programs that could put hundreds of dollars back in your pocket. 3. If you're struggling with bills right now, call your utility companies, your landlord, your creditors. Many have hardship programs. I know it's uncomfortable, but one phone call could prevent late fees or disconnection. 4. Start gathering your tax documents for 2025. If you're owed money from previous stimulus rounds or other credits, file as early as possible next year. 5. Stay informed. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. When and if this stimulus passes Congress, I will post a video immediately with exactly how to claim yours. Look, I know you're tired. Tired of waiting for help. Tired of stretching every dollar. Tired of promises from politicians that may or may not come through. Whether you're a senior on Social Security trying to afford groceries and medication, a person with disabilities dealing with rising costs, a veteran who served this country and deserves better, or a single parent working multiple jobs, I see you. Your struggle is real. The fact that you're here, watching this video, staying informed, trying to understand what's coming, that takes strength. Don't give up. So, will you get a $2,000 stimulus check? Here's my honest answer. Maybe. It depends on Congress. It depends on the Supreme Court. It depends on whether President Trump keeps pushing for it. My prediction? If the Supreme Court doesn't strike down the tariffs, and if President Trump makes this his priority, we could see checks by summer 2026. But I can't promise that. What I can promise is that I'll keep watching this for you. I'll keep reading the legislation, the court documents, the Treasury statements, so you don't have to. And the second anything changes, you'll know. In the meantime, focus on what you can control. Your December payment is coming. Check for benefits you're eligible for now. Take care of yourself and your family. If this video helped you, please hit that thumbs up button. Share it with someone who needs this information. Your mom, your neighbor, someone in your community who's worried about their Social Security check or wondering about this stimulus. Subscribe if you haven't already and turn on notifications. I post updates multiple times a week covering Social Security, Medicare, disability benefits, stimulus news, and programs that can help you right now. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you think this stimulus is going to happen? And tell me where you're watching from. I like to know where our community is located. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. And remember, you've got this.